Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Full Pelt Music Discover New Music podcast. I hope you enjoyed the first couple of episodes where we spoke with Smoke from the Netherlands and Watford's own Icarus. Be sure to check out the Discover New Music playlist on Spotify, where you can hear the latest tracks from the bands that we talk to on the podcast. Please also make sure you follow us on our social media channels, on Facebook at Full Pelt, and on Twitter and Instagram at Full Pelt Music. Plus, if you are watching the YouTube edition of the podcast, please hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest from Full Pelt Music on YouTube. Welcome everyone to the Full Pelt Music Discover New Music podcast. We're joined today by Project Renegade from Greece. Thank you both for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you very much for inviting us. We're very glad to be here and talk with you, Paul.
Thank you for having us.
Lovely. So correct me if I'm wrong, but we've got Mariana, who's the vocalist from the band, and Odie, who plays drums with the band.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yes.
Thank you both again for joining us. Just as a way of introduction for listeners, tell us about Project Renegade and how you guys came together. How did you form?
We've known each other since we were kids. I mean, like 16. I remember
16,
we met.
17 years old.
Yeah,
like that.
so since high school. And we played in bands together, and we got kind of tired around the age of 24. Like the band started at 2014. We just grew tired of, having that, romantic thing of, let's get in a room and just jam, see what happens, if nothing, if nothing leads, to anything. So, whatever. And we just wanted to do something of our own, something that, had a message, something that was, professional, something that was, like a real, tangible band, something that that we can be proud of. And then we studied for a little bit, finished everything with, our universities and all of that, and everything that we had going on in our lives. And when the time was right, we were like, actually Mariana told me,
Yeah, it's time to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, like we graduated from the whole teen band phase.
Yeah, exactly.
We wanted to do something like, I think in a more, how to say?
I guess we've matured as people,
Yeah.
It's not that we are critical of, people that just get together and jam and play music. It's just that I think we just wanted to open up a dialogue about things that were happening in our society. And we realized that if we need to do that, we need to be a little bit more, not professional about it, but
maybe goal-oriented.
Yeah, goal-oriented and more consistent with it, something that is a part of our lives and not just, actually something that is our lives and not just a part of our lives, maybe,
Okay, yes, yeah.
And then, we spend the best part of the next 3 years changing up, members and all of that, because we needed to find people that had the same, point of view that we were having, and we agreed on, on what this band should be. So we got Jay, our bass player, who is a friend of mine. Actually, he's my best friend. We played in another band. It was like a grungy stoner, kind of vibe.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And at the time, he was like, "Oh man, I can't do it. I have to go study in London." And we're like, "Fuck! Oh, excuse my language."
That's fine.
Okay, cool. And so we did the whole, we tried to, find the bass
the
player.
long distance
relationship. And
yeah, he recorded on our first EP, Cerebra, but then he went away to study in London, and then a few years after he came back, and we're like, okay.
And we were like, we don't have to, go. You don't have to audition or anything. You're in, I mean, you are one of the original members. And then we found Nick from actually an ad, if you believe it or not, those still work. Yeah. And he he was with us for until a couple of months before, because now he had a family and he couldn't do it anymore. So, respectfully, we parted ways so he can raise his daughter and, be a husband and, all of that thing. And now we are with our new guitar player. We're going to announce him in the next couple of months. We're, getting ready to do the whole photo shoot, the whole, packaging thing.
Yeah.
And he's doing great. He's actually a really, really cool guy. His name is Philip, and
he's a great musician and a great guitar player. And we really liked his previous work. And that's why we contacted him. We didn't know him before. I was like, okay, your music is awesome. So would you like to join the band?
Yeah, and what he showed me, he had a couple of songs up on YouTube, and I remember telling Mariana that, even if we, even if we had a guitar player, we should get him, like a fifth member, because right now that guy's huge competition. So he better be with us. Than, we better snatch that guy up right now. But he's so hardworking. And we threw him in the deep end. We literally were like, he was 5 days into the band, and we were like, we're gonna have to shoot 2 videos. You want to be in it? And he was like, okay. But he's doing great. And yeah, we changed before, the lineup that is, right now.
Yeah.
We changed a lot of members, like a lot of members. We didn't want to settle, for someone who was just okay, or, who could, do, cut the mustard, just, and all that. It's just, we wanted to find the guys. And so we've been active from 2017, and we recorded 1 EP, 1 album, and now we are getting ready to mix our new album.
So yeah, exciting times then for the band with a new member and new music potentially on the way. Another exciting time for you would have been the release of your debut album, Order of Minus, which came out towards the end of 2019. What, for people that haven't heard that album, perhaps, what can fans expect when they listen to that thematically? So, both musically and lyrically.
That was a record that's very near and dear in our hearts, because it's something that we've been working on ever since we recorded our EP. Like we were mixing our EP, and then we were composing our debut album, Order of the Minus. And I remember it was something that came very naturally for us. It's a record about that deals with the concept of loss and how we've all experienced some kind of loss in our life, whether it's the loss of a loved one, or the loss of our political rights, or the loss of your identity, even the loss of someone's own life, which is something that we, as a Greek, especially as a Greek society, we dread to talk about. And we thought it was a very important part of of mental health that we needed to acknowledge and discuss. So we tried to be very honest with that record, and very open about things. Even in our composition, we tried to do what came naturally. We didn't want to force anything, and we didn't want to try and do something like, hey, let's do this. It was just, everything was very organic. Everything flew very organic out of us. And it's something that I'm very proud of, because of that honesty, of that fearlessness, and that I think that it's a little bit relentless, but in a different way. It doesn't want to. Actually, I think it's a very unapologetic record for me. It's something that it deals with subjects that are like, this is happening right now, and we need to talk about it, figure it out, and move on as people, because we may be different, but we all have something in common. That's the concept of losing something in your life. And I think you actually you had a very nice aspect of how you were viewing this album, I remember.
I think The important part, I think, and is that, we start from the message of the album. The music is, like the what brings you in, but then you have to like invest in what's going on. So as the album progresses, I think the subjects that are discussed in the lyrics and in the music, because those are two things that are so connected that you cannot like view them differently. It makes as the album progresses, it's more intense. It makes you maybe even feel more uncomfortable, especially at the end. And it just makes a crescendo, I would say, like all the time, and it just peaks and then stops. For me, that's how the album progresses throughout.
I think meaning wise it goes deeper, and emotion wise goes higher.
Intensity,
intensity goes higher. It's also, music wise is something that it was really our identity, that whole, because we like heavy and very groovy music, and blending things with a lot of ambience and electronic, and trying to do the best that we can, to push that envelope, forward, like with other, our fellow bands, that do that. It's something that we were thinking that at the time that it needed to be done, especially here in Athens and Greece. It's something that we wanted to introduce something new, but also we were the bands that inspire us, and that and the experience that are very inspiring for us and very motivating are experiences that are forward thinking, and try to be from today and forward, and not today and backwards. So we tried our best to do that, and whether we did it or not, that's to each listener's perspective, but we did our best to do that.
And for us it was a huge step up when it comes to production and writing the music, because from our EP Cerebra to Order of the Minors, you can find like a huge difference sonically, I believe, in my ears at least. Okay. Because the production is way bigger. The things that are happening at the same time are a lot more. I think it shows like an evolution from where we were before.
And it's something that we've always wanted to do. We don't want to stay, and we don't want to be the same band in each record.
Yeah. I think it's a risk, when you're a DIY band like us, an underground band, it's a risk to put too many things, because sometimes they do not end up, being comprehensive.
Yeah, sure.
But I think we took a chance on that matter, and I think it paid off. So,
yeah, certainly. We've enjoyed listening to it in the full Pelt office, and we've recently added the new Joker, which was one of the singles, to our hard and heavy playlist on Spotify.
Well, thank you so much.
What can you tell us about the new Joker? What's the song about, and how did that come together?
You mean the composition, how it was written?
Yeah, what was the creative process behind the new Joker?
I think that was pretty intense. In the beginning, it sounded very basic until I got my hands on the instrumental and did the whole programming and the vocal arrangements and all of that. The riff was very, very, very basic, and I remember hearing something in there that was what ended up being the new Joker. That whole galloping sound, and it had a whole It was just great. It was just that like hardcore music, like gung, 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 gung. And I just I was very determined to get. I was feeling the chords were very dark, like very dark sounding, very ominous, and I was very determined to get that out of the song. And at the time, I was nowhere near the musical capabilities that I'm right now. I just began playing guitar and didn't know jack shit about what I was doing. I was like what is the sound in my head and where can I find it? Is, is in the 4th fret, is in the 5th fret or whatever, it's this shape or that shape or whatever. But when I got it down, when I got the riff down, everything else just revealed itself for me, and it was very easy to coax actually that dark vibe of it, out. I remember we had a very strong feeling about that song that, that this should be one of the singles that we're going to release, and we need to do a video about it. We need, to do everything. And once, we had the riff, I remember, we usually get together after I have an outline for the song. We get together and we discuss about, the vision of the song, like, what does that make you feel? What, images do you see? What colors, do you see? We go through the whole, through the whole process. And so we hashed out, we realized the vision for the song. We could see it in, in our minds, and then, Mariana just took it in.
I think it was an easy song to, to create it in the way that it ended up, because when you have like some simple stuff, then you can build on them very easily. So like Audie said at the beginning, the riff of the song was, like in a pretty basic form, but then we got, like to make it better, to enhance it, to make it, more rhythmic. And then we had the chance to make, some dynamics, although it's a very, heavy, it's a very heavy song. I think it's in terms of, guitars and bass and drums, it's the heaviest song on the record. I think it also has great dynamics. So we had the chance to experiment with those dynamics, and it ended up being very interesting and very different than what it was at the beginning. And that's what, I like when we are, getting together to create, because you get something that is, it's quite simple or quite understandable, and then, you put that synth there, that vocal line there, that orchestra there, and makes, like a very nice mix in the end that makes everything, that it ties everything together, and, it gives a result that, how did that end up being like that? How that, that riff that was like,
yeah, it's like, I think,
nothing at the beginning, then, ended up being like something so great, so awesome, in our ears at least.
And I think, that not only us, but every band tries to do that. You can write a song, but the big question is, how can you turn that song into an experience, like something that, people can take with them and, and have it, sit with them, for the rest of their day, or like even the week or the month or whatever. And that's something that comes in later stages when we get together and do the programming, and when you do the vocals. That's when I felt the intensity of the song, because in the beginning it's just maybe a guitar and a drum beat, and you're like, okay, this is going somewhere. But when the demos are done, I remember that I couldn't really listen to the song. This is one of the two songs that I have, one of the three songs, excuse me, that I have a hard time listening on this record, because it gets super intense, and with the specific one I get really amped and very pissed, and I'm like, like, I'm not, this is counterproductive right now.
That's great. I say we've really enjoyed the single and the album, and obviously you put the album out at the end of 2019, and then of course at the start of 2020 the world stopped. So I mean, how did that affect you guys in the promotion of the album?
Well, it stopped the promotion of the album, for a great part of it.
Yeah, tour-wise. I mean, tour-wise, we couldn't do anything. We were like, okay, we have the album out, we're going to start touring, and then everything stopped. Yeah. And, we're here in Greece, we were, before the first quarantine hit, not only Greece, but everyone in the world. Yeah. We were the last show that happened.
Okay.
Yep. It was on the 8th of March, and then on the 10th, everything closed.
Yeah.
So it was really difficult, because we had to do, of course, the online promotion, it continued, and there were people who were listening to it, and we had the videos. for the new Joker and Liberate.
I think it did great, given the fact that this whole thing was going down. Like we gathered a lot of we grew our fan base, and we met new people, and we communicated with a lot of our heroes and all of that through this pandemic. And it's something that I don't think we would be able to do if if it wasn't for social media and the internet and the whole thing. But tour-wise, it was a bit of a bummer, but so far we're dealing with good promoters that just want to reschedule everything, and they do not want to cancel nothing. So we have a program, that waits for us for 2022.
And we are very eager to, play our album. We are quite lucky because before the release of Order of the Minus, we're already playing some of the songs live, because we had only the 3-song EP, so we had to add something on our live playlist. And we have played the new Joker, we have played Liberate live, but there are also a lot of other songs in there that we didn't have the chance to play, and we cannot wait to see the reaction of the people and headbang with them.
There are some songs.
We really wish that we can get that whole record out there and play it live.
Of course, yes. So in the past you've had the privilege of playing with some bigger bands in support slots. Evanescence and Bullet for My Valentine are two that I clocked. What have you learned from those experiences of playing with those bands?
I think it was for me. It was a learning experience, but it was also a very surreal experience, because those guys, especially those bands, are like our heroes. We grew up with those bands. We watched their videos. We listened to their albums, and especially I remember I'll admit that I was very late in the Evanescence hype, but once I got in, I was like, this is some pretty legit stuff, and we actually have things that we can learn from those people. I remember when Evanescence hit the stage that we were very in awe of how in today's world where everything runs through a laptop, and we all play to a click track and whatever, how real everything felt and was. I mean, Amy Lee's voice was something that I remember resonated through the entire arena. And when we played here with Bullet for My Valentine, I remember seeing them and being like, that is a tight band. That is the definition of a band that has played together, jammed together, and they got their sit down. They're ready. They're ready for action. And I think we try to emulate that. Those things. Now that we need to be good players. We need to be good. Musicians, and we need to know how we can control a crowd and whatever. All those things.
I think one of the lessons that we got from that show is that we need to buy a lot of gear to play live.
Yeah, because we showed up, with the most basic stuff, but we know how to make it work. But they bring the bells and whistles. I think we realized, how important it is, light design in stages. Because when you're an amateur band, you cannot afford, a light designer. So you go there, they throw some blue or purple or red lights, and you have to do your thing. And somehow you're like, oh my god, all those strobing lights, and they're changing for this song and for that song, and there are cues and whatever that they don't have to miss. You learn about professionalism, and I think we took that professionalism and we combined it with our work ethic to create a bigger monster, so to say.
Yeah, and I liked very much what you said also, that with Bullet from a Valentine, they were very, very good players, very a very tight band, Everything, was like up to perfection with their light design, everything. And I like that very much. And I also liked, I don't know if you noticed that, I don't think we have ever discussed that when we were watching Evanescence from backstage while they were playing, they had actually a really good time on stage. Like they were communicating, they were having fun. And when you're in the audience, you cannot actually see what's going on between the band members, but because we were on the side, we could actually see what they were discussing and what they were talking about, and they had fun. And I think after so many years to have fun with your band, that's amazing. And not just be like, it's another show, okay, it's another city.
I'll be honest, I was amazed at the first 15 rows of people crying when they hit the stage, and I was like, how can we do that? So I'm sorry I didn't pay attention to that at all. I was how can we make people cry,
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like you say, having fun on stage is definitely important, especially that far into the career. And for you guys, obviously, with the impact of the pandemic on your plans, you must be really excited to be able to get back on the road at some point soon. So you alluded to you got some rescheduled shows. What have you got lined up across Europe that fans could look for tickets for?
Right now, what we can say, because it's already announced, it's a festival in Bulgaria with Lacuna Coil and with Temptation next July 2022. Apart from that, there are also other shows that have not been confirmed yet. We were talking about them for 2020, then 2021. Now we have to wait again and see what will happen, because
some of them are also here in Greece, and it's a hit or miss kind of thing, because they are like, okay, it's a go, green light, let's go, and literally the day before the show they're like, we have to cancel because the government won't allow us to do the shows, or they are offering us acoustic gigs and all of that, which we are really not that into. We like it, but right now we just want to we just want to blow off some steam and let that energy out. I mean, it's okay. We've done, acoustic versions of our songs and all of that, but we are a metal band, and we are deep rooted in our heavy culture. We are going to punk shows, and we've used to mosh and headbang and do all those crazy things. And it's just an acoustic gig right now. It feels like, feels super weird for me. I'm not into going there, with my congas and my bongos and have everybody be in a mood and vibing together. I want to go out there and destroy,
Yeah. There's too much pent up energy, I think, right now. Not only for us, but for every musician, I guess. And it's such a crazy thing, because it's like Odi said, they're saying yes, you're gonna play in that show with that band, blah blah blah, here in Greece, abroad, whatever. And 2 weeks after, you hear that the band actually had to cancel the tour because of the COVID restrictions.
Oh yeah, it also affects bands that are coming from other countries to Greece. We were scheduled to play in November, and the band had to cancel December. I'm sorry, and we had to, the band canceled the tour. So like, now what are you gonna do?
And it's a pity, because sometimes even those tours are not announced yet that they are canceled, and there are people who say, yeah, we're gonna see that band on December or November, and say, no, you're not gonna see them because we know.
Yeah, and I'll say this right now, I'll go on record and say this right now. This is by no means, I'm not throwing shade to any of our bands that play those acoustic gigs, but I'm really seeing the people that are sitting down and they cannot move from the chair and all of that, and there's nothing more saddening than a metalhead sitting down and trying, to have fun.
Yeah.
Those people, they need it, they need the energy, they need the release. And sometimes I really feel sorry that as a country we are allowing, our traditional clubs to, with the whole dancers who are, who shake whatever clothing they're wearing to be open, and we cannot, go in there and figure something out for those people to release all this, all this pent up energy, like Mariana said.
Exactly. You said, most bands have obviously got that pent up energy they want to release, but the fans have as well. Thankfully, we're able to enjoy some shows at the minute in the UK.
You are very lucky.
Yeah, you got it down. You got it down.
Speak. I mean, come on, like the download. And we were like, I want to go to the UK right now.
Yeah.
Yes, we were at the Download Festival back in June, and it was absolutely cathartic to get back out there in a field watching bands again. For you guys, is there any plans to come to the UK at any point in the future? Is that something you'd like to do?
The UK is our number one priority.
Yep.
Really, it's literally. I'm not saying this, because we're talking,
Yes.
to a UK podcast and all of that. Literally, the UK is what we are obsessing about, because we are huge, enormous fans of the UK scene. We are, literally, I think our top 5 bands are like UK bands. We like bands like, like Architects and Bring Me the Horizon and While She Sleeps. All those stuff. I mean,
and Bullet for My
Bullet for My Valentine, Biffy Clyro, all those bands that are, from that, area. And, we, like I said, we have members that studied, in the UK. We have so much love for this country. And when they are like, but now it's hard to get into and hard to get out of because, this and that. And we're like, we don't care. Whatever it takes. If we have to swim in there, we'll swim in there. It's literally is our number one priority, and we are obsessing of how, when, and where we can get, to the UK and play. I also feel like it's a place where, they will get us instantly,
Yeah, and I mean the latest releases from the UK bands last year, they were amazing. They were like setting the bar so high.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's like I think they're setting the basis for a new wave of production and of music and of heavy metal and everything.
And of musical understanding regarding composition. I mean, there are some bands that literally defy all the barriers about genre and whatever, and they do literally whatever they like, and I love it so much because we're very quirky people as well. And in our new record, we threw the rule book out of the window. We're like, we're just gonna do what we like, and don't care about rules or whatever. It's if it sticks for us, it sticks. If it sounds weird, cool, it sounds weird. What you gonna do? And we got that from UK bands. And I'll have to say this: I was talking with a friend of mine, and he was showing me a big band, I won't say who, from the US, and he was very hype about it. And he was like, those guys are saving music right now. And I was like, it was a little bit way past in the day, and I immediately went, yeah, but have you heard Silosis? Now those guys are saving music because their new single was heavy as oh my god. And the new Architects record is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys, I think you guys are the land of music for us. I mean, that's how we view the UK, at least.
Well, if I can speak for the UK, we definitely look forward to you guys making it over here. And like you said, I'm sure the fans over here will take to you very, very well. And you alluded to potentially some new music that's being created. So by the time you can make it over here, what would be the chances of you having another record out?
Right now we are mixing some of our new songs because the situation is kind of weird right now. We don't know what's going to happen in the winter, how things are going to progress with the COVID situation. We decided to take it a little bit slow, and not, put all of our songs out there, like, in a full album right now. So we decided that we'll test the waters with some singles at first to see how things will open up eventually, hopefully.
Yeah.
And
I think there's a good chance that we will play, new
Yes.
music if we ever make it to the UK.
For sure.
I'm not so sure about having released, new music until then, but definitely we can play some new music, and there will be soon new music that people can hear. We have some singles lined up that we are gonna, we're gonna be releasing through the year. But as far as releasing the album, we really want to wait until COVID ends, because we've seen a lot of our bands that that we like and we really enjoy, and some couple of bands that are like heroes for us, who have released records right now, and we can't even remember they released it. We were like, oh yeah, they did that thing, and we were like, that's a damn shame, that is a damn shame.
I mean, heavy metal and rock music is based on touring.
Yes.
If you don't tour, it's really difficult for people to get involved with your music, because we like the live shows. It's in our culture, and that's why we engage with the music. So I think it's a bit also not so intimate when you just release something on the internet and then it stays there. You need to support your songs and your music live, and that's how you gain fans. Even now, I mean, I know that the internet can reach so many people so far away, and everything is that that's amazing. But the real connection happens in the live shows. Nobody can deny it, and live shows are great in heavy metal fans.
Yeah, and especially like bands for us who are super, friendly and super, social. Like, we don't stay backstage and do whatever. We literally finish the show, and then we change and go back, out in the audience, and we just hang. I remember when we played here with Bullet for My Valentine, I was, talking to kids, from in the pit, and then I just went right down there when they opened up, and they started moshing because they were like playing Waking the Demon. I was like, that's my song, But after, but that builds, an organic fan base. Like, we are literally close with our fans, so we don't want to, I think we don't want to not tour a record, because that's how we gain fans.
And it was really, I mean, it was really painful to not tour a record. It happened to us. I don't want to have to experience that again.
No,
it's really painful for them.
No, definitely. Live music is the lifeblood of what you guys do. You did allude to social media is a saving grace to an extent. Just so listeners know where to check you out. You are on Instagram at Project Renegade Official.
Yeah.
Facebook at PREN Band, so PREN Band, and on Twitter at Proj_Renegade, so PROJ_Renegade. We've really enjoyed this chat with you guys. Thank you for joining us on the podcast. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to anyone listening?
First of all, I just want to say thank you for having us. I mean, it was a great honor, and very, very. I at least have had a great chat with you. I'm super, grateful for having us, and talking about our band in your podcast. That's amazing.
Thank you very much. We hope to come to the UK really, really, really soon. Get to know you and tour all your cities, because I believe it will be amazing. Thank you for adding us on your Spotify playlist. That is very important.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much about that.
And stay tuned, because there are stuff that's coming. We've stayed silent for a little bit, but now we are starting to get back on the game. Everything's starting to we're starting to see hope and things opening up. So we will be back on the game, and we will release some new stuff for you to listen to. And a new record is coming. It is coming. New videos?
Yeah, we've got some things lined
Yep.
up already. We'll be releasing them through the year, so we'll be active. It's not that we are working to be active. We will be active. We are on the finishing stages of some of our plans, and I believe by this is very I'm speaking very roughly here, but I believe from the end of September and onwards we'll be very active on social media, on with releasing material and all of that. So I urge everyone that is interested to be on the lookout for us. And if anyone there in the UK listens, bring us to the UK, please. I beg you.
No, thank you both very much. Thank you to Project Renegade for joining us on the Full Pelt Music Discover New Music podcast.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed the latest edition of the Discover New Music podcast from Full Pelt Music and the chat we just had with Project Renegade. Be sure to check them out on their social media and on our playlists on Spotify. Be sure to, as mentioned, to follow us on social media at Full Pelt on Facebook and at Full Pelt Music on Twitter and Instagram. Plus, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We'll see you next time for another chat with a great up and coming young band.